Let me tell you guys about the scariest night of my entire life. So a little bit of backstory. I always loved Halloween. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I always thought it was fantastic. But I loved to scare other people. I loved getting scared, but the real joy came from scaring others. But finally, senior year came around, and I decided it was time to get the shit scared out of me. So I called up my best friend, and I finally convinced him to do the one thing that we were always just way too chicken to do, and that's visit the old insane asylum a few towns away from where we lived. Now, it was abandoned. It's been abandoned for about 40 years, and the police always patrol it during Halloween time because kids go in there and they do stupid shit, whatever. So we had to go in through the woods, which obviously is just so cliche, adds to the horror, whatever. We go through the woods, we get in through the back, and it's basically, I guess, what was once a window. We climb inside, and we see that we are definitely not the only ones who have been in here. There are a few, like, homeless people sleeping, some graffiti on the walls. Just, not very scary. Just weird. So we decided to go a little bit further inside, and the further you went, the more untouched everything was. The more everything seemed to rot. The more desks and chairs and tables are just knocked over all over the place, looking like they've been sitting there for dozens and dozens of years. There was no more graffiti on the walls. The only walls we saw were all padded. There were chains on the ground. Everything that you would imagine seeing in an insane asylum, picture that times 10 and rotted times 50. Creepy as all hell. I was not ready to drive home, and neither was he. So we decided to go around the town, and we found a small little bed and breakfast type of place, and we just wanted 2 rooms. That's all we wanted. The guy doesn't even charge us for either one. He gives us each a key and gives us one simple instruction.
Stay away from room 2.
Now, I'm creeped the hell out. He's creeped the hell out. And I'm like, dude, if this room has a couch, I am not sleeping alone. I'm going to sleep on your couch. That sounds weird, but trust me, if you were as scared shitless as I was, you would not want to be alone. That's part of being scared. So it turns out, there was a couch in the room, and so screw my room, I'm not going to be alone, so I decided to lay down on the couch, but I just couldn't sleep. I mean, why would he tell us to stay away from that room? So I leave, and I tell him exactly where I'm going, and he decides to not come with me, but I needed to see this for myself. I mean, hey, it's Halloween, he's probably messing with us. So I find room 2, and it looks just like any other room from the outside. The door's locked. I try to open it up. I knocked on the door. No answer. Whatever. But like I said, these are really old-fashioned doors, and so there's keyholes. I crouch down and look inside the keyhole. And what I saw gives me creeps to this very day. Inside the room, it was just like the rooms in the insane asylum. It was padded white. There was only one thing in there, and it was a dark, dark figure. Hooded figure. I don't even honestly remember what it looked like because I thought that I was seeing shit. All I know, it was in the corner, it was dark, and it looked like it was banging itself against the wall. Creep the hell out. I got chills right now. I decide to not walk, but run back to my friend's room, and he just bursts into laughter, laughing his ass off. He doesn't believe me. He thinks I'm making it up. But I knew what I saw, and I know that I'm not crazy. So I try to lay down and go to sleep. I'm going to guess around 30 minutes passed, and he's dead asleep. And I go back. I say, you know what? That must have been me. I must be seeing things because I'm creeped out. So I go and I crouch down one more time to look into the keyhole of room 2. But this time it's just white. It's just white, as bright as I'd ever seen white, like a flashlight. So I'm guessing, hey, maybe they didn't like me creeping around, and the person who was in there decided to just tape a piece of paper over the hole because I was being nosy. Whatever. Calmed me down a lot. So I finally go to sleep. I wake up. I go to return the key, and there's actually a really cute woman at the desk now. And she can tell I'm a little creeped out. So I asked, really casually, has anything weird ever happened in this place? And she just looks at me. And she's like, did he tell you not to look at room 2? And I said, yeah, he told me not to look at room 2. And she says, you should have listened. And she goes on to explain to me that room 2 was actually inhabited by an escaped insane asylum patient, who had gone in there and just been doing really weird experiments on himself. It caused all his pigment to be pitch black. Everything except for his eyes. His eyes were as bright white as you will ever see in your life.
In 1990, we moved from a small little farm town in northern Idaho to a big city of Sacramento, California, the state capital. And we were scared, okay? We were absolutely scared. The kids, the kids of us, we were scared. My mom and dad, I don't know if they're scared they were, but us kids, we were scared, because we had read stories, about murders, and, we thought we were going to get stabbed on the way to school or get shot, if we went outside of our home, stuff like that. We were completely scared. So it was like a brand new, completely different experience for all of us. You know what I mean? And of course, having older brothers and an older sister, because I'm the youngest, they made it really bad for me. So anyway, we were down there for, like I said, the summer of 1990, and it was a couple months before Halloween. And I am big time candy guy, okay? I love fucking candy. I've always loved candy. That was a big thing for me as a kid, just go out and get candy. I fill a suitcase full of candy and eat it all that night, That's what I was about. I love the candy for Halloween. I didn't care about this, the crazy, scary, ghosts and costumes. I went there, I dressed my normal self. It's me, my, clothes. And that's it. I just wanted candy. But I was scared. I was scared because we were in a brand new place and it's a big city and thought we were going to get killed if we were going to go out and go trick-or-treating. But I went out anyways because I wanted to get that candy, you know what I mean? So I went with my brother David. We ended up going out trick-or-treating and everything was going great, like I said before. And the very last house we went to, how those, they have like, some people have like really decorate their houses out front. And this one had like a scarecrow, sitting in a chair. And it looked like a scarecrow, it's full of straw and stuff like that. And you walk up to it and, you ring the doorbell. A lady comes out, holding some candy. And the scarecrow grabs a hold of me, grabs a hold of my arm, and just, screams. And I'm screaming. And, it ended up being like a dad, he was, dressed as just a scarecrow. And I was just so freaked out. And it really just scared the shit out of me. And we were still like a couple miles from my house. We walked for so far. And my older brother, he was like laughing, I was so scared. So we ended up, we leave in there and, I calmed down. I got my candy. Everybody got a great laugh about how scared I got. So we ended up taking off, walking back home. Me and my brother just, talking and BSing. And we ended up, going down some dark, a dark alley. It was pretty late, we had got like out a little bit too late of what we should have been. We were, getting closer to home, at this point. But we're still like, we took the back way. We're in this alleyway. And all of a sudden, this stranger, this big, tall, like shadow stranger, like we could see, like kind of, from one of the street lights. You couldn't see who it was. It was dressed in like a cloak, like a really dark cloak. And I told my brother, David, look, you see that? And he stops, he looks, so what is that? I go, I don't know. I'm like, I was scared, because I just had that scarecrow experience, I was fucking scared. And he was looking, we're looking, and the stranger kept walking closer and closer to us. And it held up its arm. It said something, but I couldn't tell exactly what it said, I couldn't really tell. It was muffled. Could have been from like the cloak, It just kept going closer and closer. I was freaked out. I told my brother, I said, let's run. So we started running, and then we went smack into someone. I stopped dead in my tracks. The stranger, the shadow person, ran up to me, grabbed a hold of me, was shaking me. I was freaked out. I couldn't see, my eyes were closed. I was scared. I was so scared. And this creature, not the creature, but the shadow person yelled to me, Michael, what are you doing? I said, what? Dad?